All right, everybody, we are live. Can everybody see me and hear me? Looks good on my end. Looks like the audio's going through. So, what's going on? I think the NFC West Roundtable thing is on right now, so I don't know how many people are going to come over here because I know a lot of people do like that, but this is the only time I could really do this today. Maybe I could have done it in the afternoon. Okay. So I thought it'd be fun to start trying to incorporate a midweek stream. Thought it'd be fun to try to maybe just add another stream to the rotation. And 2 days after the game seems like a pretty good time because that's the point where you as a fan need to be either getting over the loss or getting over the win, right? That's where you start thinking, looking forward, not backwards. And we're at that point now. I don't think I don't know how good we're doing, really. I mean, for me personally, I'm still very annoyed by that game. I think that that was a phenomenal opportunity to show that we're a serious team, and I come away from that game thinking that we're not a serious team. So I remain frustrated, and I have to admit, I've curbed my enthusiasm a little bit from where I was before the season started. And I understand it's just one game and all that, but it's more than just one game. That's a division rival right there. That is one of the teams that you are trying to get past. That is one of the teams that you are trying to prove that you are better than going forwards. And it's a team that has owned you over the last several years. So I I'm still having a tough time with it, but it is Tuesday. It is time to look ahead. I'll be perfectly honest here. I'm not super excited about what I'm looking at for next week with the Seahawks. I'm not super enthusiastic about that Steelers game. So there is kind of a part of me that is already mentally accepting an 0-2 start. And that's kind of the problem, right? 0-2 is not a hole that I think this team can climb out of very easily. There are teams out there that can do it, but the margins are thin. So I'm going to go ahead and definitely take a lot of questions from chat for this stream. Couple things I want to go over. I did make a couple of videos talking about the offense, talking about just the general failure of the offense to utilize play action and get under center. It looked very similar to a Ryan Grubb offense in some ways. In other ways, it didn't look like a Ryan Grubb offense, but at the same time, it was every bit as ineffective, if not more so. And I'm truly confused by that. I am truly confused by that because the thing is, I know Kubiak is not a dummy. I know Kubiak is not some moron who doesn't know how to call a game. He knows how to call a game. He knows football. He understands this sport. He understands this league. He may not be a great play caller, but he is not some Ryan Grubb, never worked in the NFL before type play caller. He knows how to call a game. He knows how to lean into his strengths, and yet that game happened, and I'm trying to figure out how. And it's really hard to figure out. The lack of play action in particular. I know some people have theorized that he called the game like he doesn't trust Sam Darnold, and he's trying to basically protect him as much as possible. And in some ways, I think there's some truth to that, but wouldn't you use more play action if you were trying to make life easier for the quarterback? When play action is the thing that makes quarterbacks' lives easier over and over and over again? It's tough for me to really solve that. But I will say this, after having a chance to look at some of the tape, I don't get the sense that a lot of players on this team were really getting open. I didn't see Cooper Kupp getting open very much. Torrey Horton really didn't get open at all. And the tight ends, there was a little bit, but you can understand why Sam Darnold is locking onto JSN a little bit. Not that he should be doing that. Don't get me wrong. Like, he should not be locking on to JSN to the degree that he is. I think he played him like he trusts him too much. I mean, I don't know. He was getting the ball out of his hands so quickly. I don't know if I buy it. Like, think about how quickly he was getting the ball out of his hands. And think about how often he made one read and just threw it. Like, to me, those are not the actions of of somebody who trusts their quarterback. It is kind of babying him a little bit for me. Is Charbonnet going to start over K9 soon because he produced a lot more, but still not a lot? I don't really think it matters. Like, just ride the hot hand from game to game. Some games it's going to be K9. Some games it's going to be Charbonnet. I don't really care that much. I just want to see better run blocking, and I didn't get that this week. There is an average time to throw A-dot chart. I've seen that chart, and Darnold was getting the ball out of his hands very quickly while still doing some work to push the ball down the field. So, I mean, that part's good. That part I'm okay with. I do think that he wasn't going through his progressions very well. Mm. I found it strange that we didn't get the rookies involved in the game plan. It just seemed more like Horton and Arroyo weren't part of the game plan rather than them not playing well. Yeah, I mean, I'm already kind of frustrated with how little we're going to get from a lot of these rookies. We don't need to be making it worse. Like, I talked about this in my video earlier today. We how do I want to put this? That 4th and 1, I theorized maybe that should be the spot where Milroe gets the ball. Maybe you give Milroe the ball on 4th and 1 there at the end of the game, and he can go run QB power or draw or sneak or RPO or something. Maybe that's how you get something out of him. Like, I was playing with the idea of maybe utilizing that. Hey, Carmine, how you doing? All right, we got over 50 people in here, so that's actually pretty good for a midweek stream. So what's up, everybody? Good to see y'all. Steelers' run D looked pretty bad against the Jets. My problem with that is I don't think the Niners' run D is going to be that great. Their interior defensive line is really, really weak. So if they can stop our run game, then I'm worried that everybody can. Hey, Matthew. Steelers' defense in general did not look good at all against play action. Guys were biting on fakes all the time. Yeah, I mean, look, they got a chance to go out there and prove it and prove us wrong. But my concern, my fear is that the team is just going to be a little bit flat. We're talking about we're talking about a road game in Pittsburgh at 10 a.m. Did you rewatch the game? I didn't rewatch the whole game straight through. I watched some of the all 22 cut-ups. Thank you, Harrison. Like, maybe that's the spot you get Jalen Milroe involved, not the third play of the season. What happened to K9 running outside zone? It looked like he was running inside a lot. I'd ask that too. I don't like that either. Is Reek ever going to fix his problem with slapping receivers in the face every time he tries to jam them? I mean, he's tall, right? It's probably like a natural thing for him. Do you think we can stop TJ Watt? Well, Cross was really good. I'll say that. Charles Cross was really good against the 49ers, but the thing with the Steelers is they've got multiple guys. The Niners don't. The Niners have one guy, and we still couldn't stop him when we needed to. The Steelers are going to throw TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Cam Hayward at us. It's not going to be that simple. What if our 2023 class was only good with Pete? Seems like it. What are you talking about? Witherspoon has been fine. Derek Hall did nothing with Pete and then, quote unquote, broke out. I don't know if he really broke out, but he kind of sort of broke out with McDonald. Charbonnet had his best year last year. I don't know why you think that. We need a lockdown Cross to an extension ASAP. I agree. I agree. To me, the team is adhering to some kind of rule for no reason there because they don't like to extend players who have more than 1 year left on their deal. But to me, there's no reason to adhere to that other than to just because you like to do it. But I don't see how it's an advantage. Lucas going up against Bosa and Watt back-to-back is tough. It is. It is. So, I don't think he played a terrible game. I know some people are down on him a little bit, and I'm not saying he played a very good game, but he's a good player. I know, NJ, like that's kind of that's kind of the thing that keeps coming back to me as well. It's like you watch other teams run a screen. You watch other teams run screen passes, and they don't look like disasters. Even the ones that don't work don't look like disasters the way ours do. And it just makes you wonder, like, what are we doing that is so different from everyone else to where our screen passes look like this? Do you think we can put Job to replace Woolen as cornerback too? No, because Warry's hurt. We're probably going to have to kick Witherspoon inside and then move Job to Witherspoon's spot. So no, not right now. All right, we got over 80 people in here right now. So what's up, everybody? Thank you. By the way, I'm not going to be able to get to every single chat. So if you have a comment you really want me to get to, you can send it in as a super chat or a tip. It's guaranteed I'll see it and respond to it. Or a member message as well. Just so you guys know. I'm not ignoring you. The chat's going to be more active now. The issue with this team is we have no elite player. Who is the leader on either side of the ball? Who's the disruptor? I think Leonard Williams is elite, but that's it. And he may not be this year. He was elite last year. Maybe he won't be this year. Put Warry on IR and sign Griffin to the 53. Yeah, I think Griffin is going to get a promotion one way or the other. And that was always probably the plan, to promote Griffin after week 1. Remember, these veteran players, if you don't have them on the roster as a 53-man guy in week 1, it's actually good because you don't have to guarantee their contracts. So I think that's the plan. JSN looks to be going to elite tier. He was very good. I will say I would personally very much prefer it if he would put up less numbers and we could spread the ball out some. I would much rather him have 5 catches for 80 yards and somebody else does something. Emanwari didn't go to IR today, so I guess it's possible he won't, but we'll probably find out either tomorrow or Thursday. And I kind of expect him to. I suspect that he will. Hey, that Nuke guy, what's up? The Woolen thing is so complicated because I've been reading a lot of Seahawks Twitter today. Excuse me. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Seahawks Twitter loves Reek Woolen. They think he's amazing. They think he's the greatest thing ever. And I like to try to expose myself to alternate points of view. Like, I'm a big fan of Griff on his football takes. I think Griff has great football takes. I try to keep abreast of the things that he says and thinks because I know a lot of work and research goes into the things that he thinks. But I just can't do it. Like, this guy is a space cadet. I know his numbers are really good, but it's really hard to trust him. So, I don't know. I know that there's a lot of people who defend Woolen as being one of the best. I know that there's a lot of very smart people who love Reek Woolen and think he's amazing, but I'm just really having a hard time being okay with some of the things that I see from him. Is Sundell over Oluwatimi still the right call? I think so, Nolan. Sundell didn't play that bad. Like, we shouldn't expect the world of a guy like Jalen Sundell. He is a UDFA making his first career start. Like, stop expecting him to go out there and play like a Pro Bowler. It's not going to happen. He wasn't great on Sunday, but I don't think he was terrible either. I don't. Need some guys to open so we can use JSN as the distraction wide receiver instead of Horton. Well, I just don't think you should be using any one player as like a distraction receiver at all times. It's like, I remember in Super Bowl 46, New England had Chad Ochocinco on their team, but he was completely washed. So they just used him as a decoy the whole game, and eventually New York caught on to it. Yeah, unless I'm wrong about Woolen and he's going to be a lot cheaper than I expect, I just can't do it. Maybe I'll feel differently in 4 months. Maybe I'll feel differently. My biggest takeaway was the play calling on offense. It's got me so skeptical on this year. So many mistakes on Niners' part. Should have been a win. Yeah, that's the thing, guys. You're not going to play very many games where your opponent makes that many mistakes. You're not going to play a lot of teams that miss 2 field goals, turn the ball over twice, and commit 9 penalties in a game. Do you think Haynes comes back? Bradford could get benched if he continues playing this way. I don't know if Bradford played that bad. Like, I don't see anything from Haynes that indicates he can be competent. So, no. I think Bradford would have to play a lot worse for us to even consider doing anything. Just so are we giving Sharp's majority of carries this game? I don't know. Again, my issue with this team is the run blocking. My issue with this team is the run blocking, not the play of the running backs. So I don't really care that much. I just, whoever gets the ball, I want there to be better blocking for them. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. In their defense, the second kick was just an unreal play by J-Love. Yeah, sure, but how often do you see a special teams unit allow a kick to get blocked? Like, they had to do something wrong in order to allow that to happen. If a special teams unit does everything right, then the kick doesn't get blocked. For whatever reason, we run block better for Sharp, so at this point I want him to do the main RB even if K9's better. Okay, but why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Does K9 project a field that makes it so nobody run blocks for him? Like, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I think that the actual answer needs to be something along the lines of,
I
we need to
love
actually
K9
run
but he
block for
needs to
this
keep
guy.
running quit stopping.
Shaw, thank you for the $1.99. I love K9, but he needs to keep running, quit stopping. I didn't really see him do that in this game, to be perfectly honest. I didn't see him do that in this game, so, like, yeah, you're right, but I don't think that was the problem this week. I think the problem this week is just they didn't block for him. There was one play that was blocked well for him, and he did have a chance to make a linebacker miss in the hole, and he didn't. So there was a missed opportunity there, but other than that, he just didn't have much of a chance. Would you like Josh Jobe as a long-term player if he has a good year and move Witherspoon to the slot? I've always liked Josh Jobe. I don't know if he's good enough to be like a 17-game starter, though. That's a guy you want as a bit player, a rotational player, I think. I like him. Maybe if he plays really well the rest of the year, I'll feel differently, but maybe he could be like your cornerback too, and Witherspoon moves from inside to outside when you go to when you go to nickel, something like that. Hey Chaz Daz, what's up? K9 also needs to break tackles. It seems like once a defender gets his hands on him lately, he just goes right down. I did kind of think about that. That's the one angle on the K9 thing that I think is valuable. But I'm just not seeing him get any run blocking, and I think that's just a much bigger concern than the way in which the running backs are playing right now. I like Darnold, but watching Darnold miss those 1-2 throws brought me back to when Gino would make those types of throws regularly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I said a couple times now that I think Gino wins that game, and some people don't understand why. It's a 60-minute long football game. We had 10 possessions, and Gino's a better quarterback than Darnold. At some point, that makes the difference. At some point. I don't know
It's
when, I
not the
don't know
blocks or
exactly
anything
how,
else. I watched
but I
the Chiefs
believe
game.
that a
I am
huge part of
confused
football
on
is
why the
still
play
your
calling was so
quarterback.
off from those plays. That first drive was magic, but this game we got none of it.
Simone Jean, thank you for the $10 super chat. It's not the blocks or anything else. I watched that Chiefs game. I am confused on why the play calling was so off from those plays. That first drive was magic, but this game we got none of it. Yeah. Yeah, I spent a lot of time these last couple days trying to figure that out as well. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We didn't even use under center stuff that much. We were in shotgun a lot. There was a significant amount of shotgun stuff in that game, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Some people have suggested that the problem was that Salah's really familiar with this offense, and that there may be some truth to that. But again, we brought in Kubiak to implement some under center stuff. We didn't do that. So it's like, okay, he's really familiar with this stuff that you didn't do. So you tried to do something different and it still didn't work. So I don't know if that can be the excuse when we abandoned what we all assumed the game plan would be in the first place. Feels like Kubiak overthought the game plan. I guess. I mean, it's a pretty simple game plan, right? For the most part, it is kind of like football the way it was played in the 1990s or the early 2000s. You get an I formation, you get a fullback out there, you run the ball a lot, you get under center. It's like old school football. It's not like we're running some kind of complex air raid spread offense. Thoughts on Gino's first game? He was balling. He was absolutely balling out there. He had 9 throws of 20 or more yards in that game. I don't know if any other quarterback had more than like 6 or 7 this week. He's an absolute hooper. That and maybe MVS gave them some plays when he went over there, but to be honest, any reason sounds like a reach and an excuse. Stuff like that happens in the NFL all the time. Players go from one team to another team and play their old team. Like, that happens. That can't be the reason why you had 230 yards. And we had, like, what? We had 170 yards or something before that last drive in the final 2 minutes. Thank you, Tarun. I appreciate that. Thank you for that, Tarun. I appreciate that. My voice is still a mess. I yelled at Reek Woolen on Sunday for like 5 minutes, and my throat is still... Like, I think you guys can hear it. My voice is still shot. That's really not a good sign for me this season. It's week 1. I yell for like 4 or 5 minutes at the TV. And, yeah. Does it ever cross your mind Seattle could be elite running the triple option with Milroe? I think that would get old really quickly. I think that would go out of vogue very fast. What game are you going to live stream? I might do the Saints game because the way things are setting up, that might be the game to save the season. But I'm not sure yet. Did you see Brandon's crash out? What do you mean, Matthew? What specifically? I may have, but about what? And when? Was it
You
today?
write something is off with the blocks for K9.
Shaw, thank you for the $1.99. You're right. Something. Okay, so there's a theory that for some reason, every time Charbonnet got the ball, we ran zone. And every time K9 got the ball, we ran gap. And we're not very good at gap, and we're good at zone. That may be what's at play here. That may be the thing. It could be something like that. I could see that. Hmm. 49ers waived Mooney. Yeah, like, think about how icky that is, too. It's like, you get the game that finally ends Jake Moody's career, and you still lose. Jake Moody was trying to hand you that
Not to be a
game.
hater, but I miss Gino.
Kings will dream. Thank you for the $2. Look, it's not hating. It's not hating, okay? There is nothing wrong with saying that you miss having a really good quarterback. I want to be very clear about that. I want to be clear about that to all Seahawks fans. There's nothing wrong with you missing a really good quarterback while you're watching your team play with a lesser quarterback, especially because you didn't really get that much in the trade. This isn't a Russell Wilson situation where, 1, you got a ton of stuff in the trade, and 2, he went to Denver and immediately turned into Ty Detmer. All right? Like, at that point, if you miss Russell Wilson, then your priority is not having a good football team or winning games. Like, that's weird. If you're going to say I miss Russell Wilson when you've seen what he's been the last 4 years now, well, 3 years plus, that's kind of weird. But there's nothing wrong with saying you miss Gino when he's playing the way he played against New England. Now, we've got a lot more time before we really get to the point where we can really say we made some dire mistake. Like, we have to get through several more games before we can make any overall conclusions. But my position on this has always been very, very simple. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that you miss having the better quarterback. Do you think that this game has sealed Woolen's fate with the team? No. No, we have no choice but to keep playing him. We have no choice but to keep playing him right now. So he's going to get a chance to redeem himself. I don't know if I'm ever really going to be able to trust him again, but I'm going to give him an opportunity to get back up. I'm going to give him the opportunity to recover. I'm not going to just completely
Do you
shut
feel we rushed
myself
the
off to that.
Geno and DK trades?
Shaw, thank you for the $1.99. Rushing the trades. I don't know. That's hard. I will say you wanted to trade them before the draft, but I got to be honest, especially now looking back at it with the benefit of hindsight, that DK trade, I think, was just getting your pants pulled down. And I know people will say the Geno trade is fine because he's old, but like, what am I doing with a late third round pick, really? That's not really worth that much to me when you're talking about a starting quarterback. So I don't know if we rushed it. I don't know if we could have done better, but to me, that's just more evidence why you should just not trade them. Like, okay, you got to overpay the players a little bit. Who cares? I said this on the stream the other day, and I'll say it again. I as a fan of this team do not care if they're going to overpay really good players, and I think it's weird that so many people do. It's not our money, people. They're not reaching into. If the Seahawks give DK Metcalf $30 million a year, DK Metcalf doesn't go into your house and reach into your wallet and take all your money. So let John Schneider and Jody Allen deal with that. And if I don't and look, if they're disasters, then that's different. But overpaying a player by 15% when the player is still really good is not really that big of an issue. So that's kind of my position here. This is the NFL. Having a good quarterback is everything. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I don't understand why I'm supposed to be cool with the team downgrading significantly at the quarterback position to save a few $1,000,000. And it is a few $1,000,000. It's not that much. So I don't know. Like, I was okay with the idea of trading Metcalf. I was. But then I look at the return we got, and it's like hard for me to really get enthused about this. This feels like almost like a salary dump. And the thing is, even if you do free up salary cap space by doing it, we know what's going to happen, right? We're going to get to March. Free agency is going to start. We're not going to sign any of the top players. We're going to sign a lot of replacement level or slightly above replacement level players. And then the narrative is going to be, well, good free agents don't want to come to Seattle because it's the Pacific Northwest and it rains too much. So those guys, you can't get them. And it's like, yeah, I know. That's why I want to keep the good players that I have. But anyway, we got plenty of time to talk about that in the actual offseason, and we got a lot of games to get through first. And these guys could prove us wrong. Darnold could have 16 really good games to close out the season. So could Cooper Kupp. I'm not going to count him out. Although I'm a little bit worried. I mean, Cooper Kupp being washed up is not that big of a surprise. If we get to November and he's not doing anything for us, it's not going to be that big of a shock. Basically, DK for Arroyo. Yeah, that's very close to what the trade was. And it has nothing to do with that game on Sunday. I just think Arroyo is not very good. I don't know what people see with him. I think that he is a replacement level tight end. I think that he's just a guy. Now, I know you are saving money, but at the same time, you gave a lot of that money to Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp might be washed. I'd rather pay twice that money to a player that is actually still good. Schneider has to ball out at the trade deadline with all the cap space. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll get to the trade deadline and find out the team is no good and it's not worth chasing. Or maybe we get to the trade deadline and nobody's willing to trade anything good. And maybe we just decide, you know what? Let's roll the cap space over to next year. And look, there is some wisdom to that. We could use that rolled over cap space for some of these extensions. We could use rolled over cap space to wipe out some of the dead cap that we're probably going to take on for some of these players. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. Oh my goodness. I need to do something about my throat, guys. I don't really know what to do. Hey, Empower, how are you doing? All right. It's no coincidence Calvin Austin played well. That's the DK effect. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People don't understand how valuable that stuff is. I think people lose track of that stuff. So, according to Nathan, the Seahawks ran zone about 90% of the time, and they ran man about 10% of the time. I mean, we don't know what they were going to do when Warry was in the game, I guess, but that's a little bit not what I want to see. And they sat in cover 3 for a good chunk of the game. Again, I don't know if I want to take a lot from these numbers because we didn't have Warry. I think Dolphins and Panthers are going to be sellers at the deadline. That's very possible. Who do they have that's worth going after? DK didn't want to be here. Well, he was here. You can tell him to kick rocks and honor his contract. So, I don't, to me, that is a very weak excuse. To me, that is something that a GM says when he does something bad and he's trying to dissuade or diffuse the blame. I don't want to hear that. Convince him to stay. Make him want to stay. Or just tell him no. Not unless I can get a better trade offer for you. Because look at what it does to the product on the field. The other shoe was always going to drop. You want to save money on players? The players you get are not going to be as good, and you're going to get a result like you got on Sunday sometimes. Man, Kirby cannot find the edge here, man. I am watching the Mariners game out of the corner of my eye. Tyrese Knight did look pretty slow, but it was his first game back from an injury, so I'm not surprised. You believe if we had Gino and DK, we would have won? Well, sure. They're better than the players we had. I don't think that the player swap is the biggest issue. I think that you still would have had kind of a disaster class from the offensive coordinator, but maybe with the better, but I think with the better players, eventually something else shakes out a little bit better than what you have. Where am I watching the Mariners game? On my television. Do the Panthers have a nose tackle? They do, right? They have, I think he's already on a big contract, though. I can't remember the guy's name, but I think they do.
Thank God for JSN, 100 emoji, rocket emoji, I hope K9 gets better blocks.
Thank you, Shaw, for the $1.99. Yeah, I mean, K9 can be electric. I think we've forgotten as a fan base how good he can be. Do you think Tyreek Hill is washed? No. Although I think it could be coming soon. I think his time to be washed could be coming sooner rather than later. Why did you block me from leaving comments on my other account? I don't know who you are. I don't know who your other account is. Derek Brown. Yes, thank you. I forgot his name. Should we trade for Jalen Hyatt? He's not good, so I don't know how that's going to help. Yeah, thank you, Derek Brown. He is good. I don't know if you can trade for him, though. Or at least if you're going to trade for him, you're going to have to give up a lot. Is Abe Lucas overrated? No, I don't think so. I don't know why that's the conclusion here. Are they challenging this? This would be very annoying. Oh, he's safe. You got to be kidding me. Do you believe the struggles the Chiefs are having, the chests are having on offense? Are you talking about the Chiefs? I don't know, Alec. I don't know how much hate other Seahawks YouTubers get. So I don't know. I can't really answer that. Yeah, I was not a big fan of the Witherspoon celebration, but it's not a big deal. We don't have to make a big deal out of it. Like, yeah, he shouldn't be doing that, but that's not why we lost. No, I don't really have a basketball team. I'm kind of a Mavericks fan, but not really. I like basketball, but I don't have a team. Not really. What'd you think about the offensive line? They pass protected really well. I don't think Tyreek Hill's going to go back to the Chiefs. I don't. If I had to guess, I'd say they're turning the page. Hmm. Hey, Drew, I'm not answering that. Come on, dude. Ask real questions. Come on, people. We have limited time on this earth. Do not waste my time with questions like that. Do better. Yeah, the offensive line needs to stick together. We need to keep the same 5 starters for an extended period of time and hope things get better. But I'm sorry, there is still a dearth of talent in some areas of this offensive line. Our center is an undrafted player. Our center is an undrafted free agent. Like we shouldn't expect him to be anything more than replacement level. And that's fine, but I don't think we can expect him to play like a Pro Bowler. Do you think Cooper Kupp will improve as the season goes on? That's really hard for me to figure out, Austin. I don't have an answer. I think that requires knowledge that I don't have, and maybe nobody has except for Cooper Kupp. Yeah, consumer, that thought did occur to me. I mean, we we got rid of DK Metcalf, and a lot of people tried to sell us on the idea that, hey, he fumbles too much, he drops too many passes, and he has too many penalties. Well, JSN went 2 for 3. Man, Kirby cannot find the zone right now. Yeah, the pass protection was definitely better, Alec. The pass protection was totally better. I think the pass protection was good. Mm.
Why can't Sandell move to RG and Ola starts at C?
Shaw, thank you for the $1.99. Why can't Sundell move to right guard and Olu starts at C? Well, I think they are hoping that Bradford's talent wins out. And it's not a bad bet. And Bradford didn't play terrible on Sunday. He didn't. So they're just trying to get their best 5 out there, and I don't think it's an unreasonable balancing act. Do you believe the saying, you are as good as your quarterback as a football team? Well, it's not that simple. Like, Jared Goff is not that good, but he's played in a Super Bowl, played in a conference championship game. Like, it's not that simple, but the quarterback is very valuable, and the better your quarterback is, the better.
I believe Olu is a better run blocker that we need.
Olu, thank you for the $1.99. The thing with that is that Sundell is more mobile than Oluwatimi. Oluwatimi is kind of immobile. Right, guy, he had 1 year left on his contract. We could have hardballed it. What unit on offense was most disappointing? Maybe the receivers, just because we only had one guy do anything. That's not a good formula. All right, we're finally out of this nightmare ending, but is Kirby injured or something? I'm almost hoping Kirby's injured because that's the only thing that would explain how bad he is. And by the way, in almost every single circumstance in the history of the world, when a player has requested a trade, if the team that he's on pays him, they get over it. And they say, okay, I'm happy to be. Myles Garrett requested a trade. The Browns gave him $40 million a year, and he seems perfectly happy now. So you're going to have to miss me a little bit with that. I think that's a weak excuse that Schneider is going to lean on to dodge responsibility in case things go wrong. Do you feel like JSN's going to have a top 3 receiver season this year because of how much this offense relies on him? No. No, I don't think so. Eventually, something else will happen. Even if it's not great, it'll be enough. How was Byron Murphy? I think he looked really good, especially given the fact that he's playing out of position. If we lose this Sunday, I'm hitting the panic button. Yeah, I know. I mean, I kind of am, but I'm also expecting to lose, so I don't know. DK is not worth the money he's making. Who cares? It's not my money. Like, again, I'm going to say it again. If DK Metcalf gets paid by the Seahawks, DK Metcalf doesn't go into your house and reach into your wallet and take all your money, so I don't really care. I want my team to have good players. I want them to pay $30 million a year to a good but flawed receiver rather than $15 million a year to some washed-up, injury-prone guy who may have nothing left. And we'll see if that is Cooper Kupp, but after one game it is. Sorry. Hmm. The salary cap cares? Who cares about the salary cap?
Gonna be pissed if
Salary
we
cap
lose
is
because the
fake.
Steelers have DK and we lack someone that demands safety high coverage on 3rd and long.
If you want to overcome a bloated salary cap, then draft better. We don't sign big-time free agents anyway, and then at the end of the free agency period, when we don't sign anybody, everybody's just like, well, big free agents don't want to come to Seattle. Well, yeah, I know. That's why I want to keep the good players we actually have. Upo, thank you for the $5. Yeah, it's going to start to become very annoying. If all the things that I said we were going to miss are immediately missed, and all the things that we were told were going to be gone are still there. I don't know why the audio's cutting out, guys. That's weird. It's not doing anything bad on my end. You think JS is an alcoholic? I think he was. I would certainly hope he's not now, but I think at some point in his life he was. Like, that's not me memeing, by the way. I think he actually is. I keep seeing people say we can cut Darnold next year for $10 million dead money, but it looks like a lot more than that to me. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I don't see how that could be true. I don't think that's possible. Maybe if you split the dead cap hit, it could be 10 million this year, next year, 10 million the year after. But that's not the same thing. In your PFF vid, you said Spoon hasn't made that superstar step. He's just not impacting the game at the high level that I don't think he's impacting the game the way Pat Surtain is. I don't. Part of me feels like the reason we drafted Milroe was because JS is hoping he pulls a Russell Wilson, and well, he just got a contract extension. His job is not in any way in jeopardy. So that doesn't make any sense at all. He just got extended. He has basically infinite job security. There is no universe where John Schneider is losing his job. Yeah, I don't think Darnold gets cut after this year. And again, I don't think Darnold played that bad on Sunday or anything. I don't think he did anything special, but he was fine. He was okay. I don't think that's a cut-worthy performance. Would you say he was a superstar year one? I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? He's a really good player, and I like having really good players on my team, and it's cool. You know, I'm not upset about it the way some people are. You know, a lot of people are still playing the Jalen Carter game. I'm sorry, guys. Jalen Carter comes with problems, and we saw a big one. I mean, it wasn't even a week ago. We saw Jalen Carter showcase the kind of problem that he can be. Like, that was beyond not okay, what he did on Thursday. You should be a guest on Nemhauser's show. I don't do a lot of collabs, man. I do one collab every week, and I'm happy about it. Yeah, I'm a fan of Spoon. I don't really have too much bad to say about Spoon. I think a lot of his quote-unquote lack of superstar impact is circumstantial, like Pat Surtain's playing with a lot of elite players on that.
We need more
Broncos
blocking.
team.
What should K9 do be better?
Shaw, thank you for the $1.99. What should K9 do to be better? I think there is an argument to be made that he could stand to, you know, not be dancing quite so much. There are some things that he can do better, but he can't even get started right now, it feels like. Mm. All right, guys. So, 60 seconds. Before I go any further into this, I want to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. Have you heard about the Sleeper app? It is the best way to experience and connect over sports together with other users. It's a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. Go download the app now. You can celebrate and chat on games in real time with others. You can get the fastest scores, news, and alerts, all that right at your fingertips. And of course, you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So you can enjoy sports the way they were meant to be, together. Download the #1 sports app today. And when you go, use promo code SBN, that is SBN, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. So check out Sleeper today. Don't forget promo code SBN. All right, we're back. I'm only going to go another minute or two, though. I said I was going to go for an hour, and it has been an hour now. What's up with your mic? I don't know. Some other people were having issues, but there's no issue on my end. My voice is messed up. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Well, remember, there are extenuating circumstances with Jalen Carter. He's with all his Georgia buddies in Philadelphia. He wouldn't have Georgia teammates here except for, what, Kenny McIntosh. If we lose on Sunday, then our season is fully on the line in week 3. Yeah, I would definitely just kind of put a bow on it if we lost to the Saints at home. And that doesn't mean I would stop covering the team, but I would definitely be like, okay, we're bad. We're bad. Are you streaming on Twitch tonight? Yes. I'm probably doing more Pikmin. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start, but I'll start later. I'll do Pikmin. Maybe I'll do some Banjo-Kazooie later. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll be on Twitch at some point. Unless my voice completely gives out. All right, guys. Thanks for coming out. I'll see you guys later on. Everyone have a great rest of your evening. I'm going to watch the rest of this Mariners game, then hop on Twitch. Go Hawks.